This video is sponsored by Squarespace. So I'm constantly on the lookout for that special hobby product, something that hides my inadequacies as a painter whilst making my paint jobs better. Talent in a bottle, one might say. So Jeff came back from Adepticon and he brought these stencils. Are they awesome or are they a gimmick? We're using a variety of stencils from Anarchy Models. We bought all of these ourselves, so hashtag not sponsored. A few varieties that you can go through, but first up is these. These are your more traditional stencil. Stick them down, airbrush over them, and you've got the pattern underneath. Literally works well on paper. How is it on a model? So to try and test it out, I've grabbed a wing off of a Demon Prince, nice and big, flat-ish surface, so hopefully we'll get some decent results. After giving it a prime and a rough paint job, let's get cracking. Immediately, the biggest pain in the arse is keeping it secure on the model. I opted for blue tack, and even then that didn't work amazingly well. I was really tempted to cut them to shape, but that seems like a bit of a waste. So it was a bit of blue tack, bit of holding it in place. I got the hang of it eventually, going in with the airbrush. The results are alright. Much quicker than if I was going to do this by hand. Bit of a faff, but I can see that it would be worth it if this is the look that you're going for. There were some frustrating points during this where I had an airbrush blockage, but I was holding the stencil on the miniature, so that really was a bit of a faff to try and get it all working. But when it did, it was pretty good. Next up, we're going to use something a bit smaller model-wise, and that is a Kroot. Jeff asked me if I could put some orange speckles on his hounds, so let's give that a go. I've got a smaller stencil. I'm using some putty to mask off the painting that Jeff's already done. I don't want to ruin everything. Already on a smaller model, this was really difficult to try and get the stencil over the miniature. Trying to get it flush with the model is difficult. The paint I'm using, it's got to be thin to go through an airbrush, but then I'm increasing the risk of making mistakes because I'll need to build up that colour. If I go a bit too close, then the paint might run everywhere. The difficulty with this process that I'm noticing as well is you're really covering up the model, and with this smaller stencil, it is actually quite difficult to see exactly where you need to paint, because most of it, when you look at it, is stencil. Being able to see what you're painting is probably quite important. Results. Subtle and a fair bit of bleeding. Subtlety, and that is generally on me, I think. There's a bit of a line from the masking that I used as well, so I sort of tried to sort that out a bit. I found this a lot harder on the smaller models. On the website, I've seen them get great results on little Tyranids and stuff like that. I'm happy to concede defeat on this one. I think I would just want to paint those dots on with a brush. I think it'd be a quicker and easier way of getting the results that I was after.
Did you do it?
Yes, I did. I stole their website, those fools.
Tell me about it.
It's exceptional. They started a completely personalized website with a new guided design system, Squarespace Blueprint. Choose from professionally curated layout and styling options to build a unique online presence from the ground up, tailored to your brand or business, and optimized for every device. Easily launch your website and get discovered fast with integrated, optimized SEO tools, so you show up more often to more people and grow the way you want.
Good. What else did those two buffoons create?
They have the ability to take flexible payments. They've made checkout seamless for their customers with simple but powerful payment tools. They can accept credit cards, PayPal, and Apple Pay, and in eligible countries, offer customers the option to buy now and pay later with Afterpay and ClearPay. And all I had to do was pose as an online therapist for 2 months.
You have done well to capture the Squarespace.
It really is unrivaled in its design.
They've grown credibility and engaged their visitors with an unrivaled suite of visual design effects, built in and ready to go on any Squarespace website. They've created an online aesthetic with dozens of modern and intuitive options, then connected social and multimedia accounts into a few clicks to extend their brand's footprint.
And how much would this cost?
Well, I stole this one, as previously mentioned, but if you wanted to get your own Squarespace website, you would simply head to squarespace.com for a free trial, and then when it's time to launch, go to squarespace.com/thepaintingphase for 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Ah, what was that? Hello, Susan. Now, you didn't think you'd be escaping with our website so easily, did you?
So that's the traditional stencils that we have out of the way. Next up, we've got this HD stenciling system. A boatload of stickers, all pre-cut to shape, great for digital camo and the like. That's what I'm going to try. I grabbed this side of a rhino that we've used before in a few videos, primed it white. I'm starting off with the brightest colour, and then I'm putting these stickers over what I want to remain white. I found the use of a hairdryer quite handy, heating up the stickers, and it makes it a bit easier to bend them around corners and things like that, of which on a rhino there are plenty. Once that first layer is done, more stickers, spray it grey, and then rinse and repeat with a black on your final step. I pick those three colours, but you pick whatever colours you want and just go bright to dark. I think the best bit about this method is taking all the stencils off and seeing the work at the end appear in front of your eyes. That was very satisfying. It absolutely is very bold, so I'm going to try and make it a bit more unified with a wash and a dry brush. I opted for streak and grime and then like a buff dry brush at the end to try and bring it all together. I am really quite happy with this. If I was going to do this style of paint job by hand, it would have been a massive pain in the arse. So I've saved myself a lot of time using these. I think they're really, really good fun and worth it. Does it look very 40k? No. A bit too advanced, perhaps, more suited to Tau than Guard or Space Marines. I opted to kind of badly paint a Gene Stealer symbol on there, and that kind of makes it a bit more 40k, maybe, but let's give the Tau a go. Hexagonal stencils this time, similar sort of thing, but I just opted for two colours. I wish I'd flipped the colours in hindsight, because I sprayed it white, put the stencils on and sprayed it grey. I think it would have been better the other way around, but I'm undecided. Just testing at this point anyway. Added a bit of weathering and some metals to try and show the model in a bit more of a finished state. It's definitely more suiting for Tau, I think. And the results on this one are fine. I prefer the tank. If I could get the tank finish on this, I think that would have been peak stencil painting for me. One issue that I had is I found myself running out of the smaller stencils pretty quick. So if you'd planned to do quite a few of these models, you might start to struggle as they are single use. Once you get all the paint over them, they lose their stickiness, and you take them off, they crumple up very easily. So you might be left with some of the bigger ones, which, you know, if you have a Manta, that might work for you. Another option being you could cut them down to size, but that's up to you. So that was my day of playing with stencils. Thoughts? I think they're quite niche, but if you fall into one of those niches, I think you'll really be able to make them work and get something pretty cool at the end as well. I really enjoyed the sticker stencil system. I thought that worked really well. You could do that with spray cans, so you could do a tank like that. Without using it, doing a paint job like that would be an absolute nightmare. So I really saw the value in that. It brought something unique to the table that would be difficult to do otherwise. Thoroughly enjoyed it. That was good fun. With regards to the other stencils, I think I need more practice with them. you know, I very much try to go to the camp of, if I don't like something, it's probably not made for me. I think I need more practice, potentially some different models to use on them as well. But again, I've seen great results, people using them online. So I think the fault probably lies with me, as it usually does. Just a quick play, reasonably short video, this one. Hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching. And thanks again to all our wonderful patrons for their continued support. You are the reason we can do what we do. So that's greatly appreciated. I am going to get back to painting my Death Wing Army video coming soon.